friends, and welcome to The Simple Sober Life. I am Joshua, and I help others make small changes in their life to create a life of awesome. Well, it's Sunday and the family is out. I actually skipped church today, which I hate doing, but it kind of explains why I'm still all dressed up. Now, I have started filming the Life of Awesome Change series, which I'm super excited. This day has been, we're only halfway through the day, and it has been so productive. I got 3 videos done for the Life of Awesome Change series. I got a promo video done, I got my introduction video done, and I got video number 1 done. And after all that, I had to say, all right, that's it. Because now I need to focus on editing that so that it's ready for the launch, which I have set a date. The launch of the Life of Awesome Change series is going to be December 16th. I want to create a little buzz, and that's a little less than a month away now. So that should give me time to create a buzz around the series, because I really believe this is going to help a lot of people create small actionable steps in their life to create more happiness, positivity, and overall change their life. So that is one thing. And also, another reason why I'm actually kind of dressed up is I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? The whole purpose behind this YouTube channel is to spark inspiration and motivation to make positive changes in other people's lives. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, am I really inspiring anyone if I'm dressed like a homeless person? Probably not. I mean, how can I go on camera and tell people, you know what, my life has gotten so much better over the past couple of months, and yet dress like I should be living on the street? And I gotta tell you, some people don't put a lot of value in clothes, but I find that whenever, I kind of zhuzh it up a little bit, it makes me feel happier, and it makes me feel more, I guess, powerful in a way. So I think from now on, when I do videos, I'm actually going to put some effort and some thought into what I'm wearing and my appearance on camera. At least for the ones that I'm hoping to provide value for. So, another big thing is I got my driver's license. Katie and the family and we took a 2.5-hour road trip down to Athens, Georgia, because it was the closest DMV in Georgia that was open on a Saturday, and I finally got my license. We were also going to be down in the area, so I looked up cars to look at and potentially purchase one in order to, drive back up. That didn't work out. The car that I was actually going to look at fell through. It was sold before I was able to take a look at it. But, I'm sure there are plenty more cars out there. I'm still kind of toying with the idea of possibly financing, but I really don't want to. I'm really more in the mindset of putting down, a specific amount of money and leaving the payments behind. That way I don't have to make payments each month. My car insurance won't be as expensive and things like that, because there are other things that, I want to focus on financially. So, but on the other side, buying from a dealership could give me a little bit more security in, maybe there's a warranty in case the transmission goes out or something like that. So obviously there are pros and cons to everything. Now, today, one of the other changes that I want to make is I want to have a more structured flow to the content that I produce, and that means I'm going to be focusing on filming 2 to 3 videos a week, very specific and very regimented. So Sundays, I'm going to be producing a health video. And that's at the beginning, that's primarily going to be focusing on, low carb meal preps for the week. I have found that, I really enjoy prepping for the week and trying new recipes and things like that. So I prep breakfast and lunch for the entire week, Monday through Friday. And so if you enjoy recipes, specifically low carb recipes, you might enjoy checking out my videos on Sundays. Now, some of the other categories that I'm going to be focusing on is changing and mindset in general. I'm going to dedicate one day a week to that, and then another day to finance. I have a financial background. I also, I don't think I've disclosed this before, but I actually have a health background. So how I got up to over 70 pounds overweight blows my mind. I was actually studying to be a personal trainer for a little while. So I learned a lot about food intake and exercise and things like that. So I really feel that I might be able to help people along in their fitness and health goals, in addition to having lost over 35 pounds. My financial background, I have a master's degree in finance. I worked as a financial planner for over 2 years, helping people create budgets and retirement funds, and learning about the stock market, and learning how to create passive income and things like that, all while building my own business. So maybe I'll do a business finance type thing. Those two kind of go hand in hand. And then the general change mindset videos. So it's a lot to take in, but I think with this new structure, A, it'll help me be more consistent, and B, it'll help you in knowing exactly what content is coming out when, rather than, just kind of throwing up videos here and there about this or that or this or that. So I'm gonna give that a shot. That's my goal for this channel moving forward. But today, as I mentioned, it's going to be a low carb prep video. And today I'm going to be making, I found a recipe online. It's a low carb Philly Cheesesteak Casserole. Sound pretty tasty, right? And for breakfast, I've been eating eggs or egg dishes for the past month. And so I'm gonna take a break from the eggs, and I'm going to make yogurt parfaits. And I've got a couple of little things that I put in the parfaits so that it kind of sweetens it up a little bit without adding too many carbs. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're gonna start with the Philly Cheesesteak Casserole. Before we get started, I had to show you this apron. My sister's the only one in the house that has aprons, and it's got little frillies on it, but I didn't want to mess up my shirt. So I threw on this apron just for some protection. Woo! And these chips behind me, they're not mine. Except the pork rinds. The pork rinds are low carb, so it's always nice to have something crunchy and salty to snack on once in a while. And those pork rinds are actually keto friendly and paleo friendly, so those are great. All right, my friends, sorry about the last couple of clips. I actually forgot to plug in my stupid microphone, and I didn't really feel like reshooting. 2 years of film school and I forget to plug in a microphone. Just goes to show we all make mistakes. But I chose this recipe because for the past month I've been eating chicken dishes, and I am over chicken. So I wanted to spice it up and try something new. So for this recipe, it calls for 1.5 pounds of butcher sirloin. I'm not exactly sure what that is. So I just went to the, where'd I go? Ingles. To Ingles, picked up some sirloin and had them kind of slice it up into thin slices. It also calls for green peppers, onions, 2 eggs, 2 ounces of cream cheese, some provolone cheese, Parmesan. It actually calls for a Parmesan Reggiano, but I couldn't find it. I could just find the regular Parmesan, so that's what I went with. And it also calls for heavy whipping cream. Now, if you followed any of my recipes before, you know I have a hard time measuring. So I will link the actual recipe in the description below in case you are very meticulous about how much to add to everything. So the first thing we're going to start by doing is we're going to brown up the sirloin in a skillet. All right, I've got my pan heated up to a medium-high heat along with my olive oil. And I'm just going to drop the steak in. And it says to cook this about 2 to 3 minutes each side. The recipe says not to leave any pink. And with this thinly sliced sirloin, it would be hard to leave any pink anyway. Now, what I didn't mention was overnight, I marinated the steak in a marinade. I did the marinade with Montreal steak seasoning, garlic, Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of soy sauce, and I think that was it. But I just let that marinate overnight. Sirloin is typically a tougher steak because there's hardly any marbling in it. So I always like to marinate it as much as possible. And we're just going to let that brown on each side. And I'm going to toss what little marinade I have left right in there. Later on, it actually calls for us to drain all of the juices to complete the casserole. But for now, I'm just going to let that simmer a while. All right, the meat has cooked for about 2.5 to 3 minutes. I'm just going to open one up to see how it's doing, especially along the edge here. And yeah, that's cooked well enough. Like I said, sirloin is, that one's not quite done, but you know, I prefer mine a little under than over for sure. That one's a thicker piece anyway. And it's going to be on for a minute more anyway. And what we do is we are going to go ahead and throw in the peppers right there with the meat. Get all those peppers. And throw in the onion along with that as well. And we're going to saute that all together until the vegetables are tenderized. Now the recipe also calls for mushrooms, which I would have loved to have included in this, but when I was shopping at Ingles, I totally forgot to grab mushrooms. So I'm sure that would have added it, just another element to this dish. But what are you gonna do? I can't pop mushrooms out my butt. So I'm gonna let that sit until those vegetables get tender, maybe another 2 to 3 minutes. And it's cool to do it this way. That way, as the sugars and everything from the vegetables kind of come out as they cook, it'll kind of mix with the flavors of the meat. All right, my friends, now that those vegetables are all nicely sauteed, what we're going to do is we're going to drain the juices from this mixture. Apparently, if you leave the juices in there, and it says that this is a really important part, really important step, it'll get soupy. And I mean, who wants a soupy casserole? So I'll go ahead and drain those, and we're gonna throw this right back on the oven, or right back on the stove. And then we're gonna add our cream cheese. And we're just gonna let that cook until it's nice and melted and creamy. And I probably should have cut that up so it is evenly spread out, huh? Get off there. We want that cheese all nice and coated. I don't know about you, but I love me some cream cheese. And that shouldn't take too long to take it all ooey and gooey. I did follow the recipe on the amount of cream cheese. If I like this recipe, I will probably try and add a little more than what the recipe calls for. Just looking at the consistency of it, or maybe not. Maybe this will be enough. Little pepper popped out. Alright, that is just about there. Oh, that actually looks like just enough cream cheese to coat everything. I'm going to go ahead and turn down my heat to a low medium and just let that kind of simmer a little bit, because I've got an egg mixture to make over on the other side. And on second thought, I'm actually going to remove that skillet from the heat. I don't want everything to kind of burn. This cheese is starting to kind of brown on the bottom of the pan, so I'm going to take that off the heat. There we go. And on this side, we are going to take our eggs. We're going to take our heavy whipping cream. And I did not even look at the measurement of the Parmesan. So I'm going to add Parmesan. And I like my stuff cheesy, so it's quite a bit of Parmesan. And there's only a little bit left, so we'll just add the rest of it. What the heck. And then we're just going to combine that all together. I may have overdone it on the cheese. Alright, that's all good and combined. And what we're going to do is we are going to take a 9x13 baking dish. We're going to add our steak mixture. probably could have gone with a smaller dish, huh? Oh well. We're going to add our egg mixture right on top. Yeah, I way overdid it with the cheese. My bad. I guess this is why they have instructions. Maybe one day I'll remember to read them. But again, I'll link the recipe down below. That way you can follow it if you like. And then we are going to add our provolone. So I'll grab a couple of slices from here. And I'm actually going to quarter it so that it melts better. I've got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon playing on the TV in the background. I haven't seen that movie in ages. And I love that movie. It's just like a theatrical dance, and the music is incredible. You can actually cook while just listening to it. It's beautiful. So just cover that in your provolone cheese. I think it calls for 4 slices or so, but you know me. And since you have extra, you can eat it. I haven't had lunch yet, so I'm hungry. And we're just gonna pop this in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes, just until that cheese is nice and bubbly. All right, just pop that in there. It for 20 minutes. And the recipe says 15 to 20 minutes, so you may want to check it, but sometime between there. And we'll see how it looks when it comes out. All right, my friends, now I know I'm terrible at following recipes, so I will definitely link that down below so that you know exactly how much to use and everything like that. I should really get better at that, just so I know what the baseline is and then make modifications based on my taste. But, you know, maybe that's a lesson for another day. For now, while that Philly Cheesesteak Casserole is baking, I'm going to start on my breakfast parfaits. For these really easy breakfast parfaits, what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using some non-fat Greek yogurt. I think it only has about 7 grams of carbs. And then I'm actually going to add some fiber to mine because there's no fiber in yogurt. So I am imagining if I add some fiber to it, then it'll actually kind of lower the carb content. You know, when you do net carbs, if you take the total carbs minus the dietary fiber, that'll give you your actual net carbs. I'm also going to be adding some frozen mixed berries. This blend is the best if you want some fruit and are doing a low carb thing. Things like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, those kind of fruits are usually pretty good with the carb content. I'm going to add a little touch of honey for sweetness, some peanuts for crunch, and some ground cinnamon, just a dash. Right. I'm going to take a scoop of the Greek yogurt, just kind of plop it there in the bottom. And I'm gonna take my berries. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my honey first. I'm gonna drizzle that on top, not too much, just enough to sweeten it up a bit. And I'm gonna take my berries, kind of dump a little in each one. Oh, that got all the strawberries, didn't it? I'll just plop that in there. Whoop. And I'm gonna sprinkle my nuts on top. I'm going to add the fiber. I probably should have added this directly to the yogurt, but it has no taste. So when I mix it up, it'll be fine. And then just a dash of cinnamon. There you go. And there you have it. Breakfast yogurt parfaits. Really easy, really simple. You can make them in under like 5 minutes, and then you have breakfast for the week. And there you have it, my friends. This is the cheesy, low-carb Philly steak casserole. Now what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to put it over some cauliflower rice so that it creates like a complete meal for lunches. And there we have it, my friends, a beautiful breakfast and lunch pre-prepped for the week that is low carb. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up and comment down below. I would love to hear if you have any other low carb recipes that you'd like me to prepare. I'm always looking for new ideas. Chicken, steak, pork, whatever. All right, my friends, you have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you later. Take care.